Hello, listeners. Welcome to yet another episode of the Startup Catalyst. Today, on this episode, we have Mr. Nawin Krishna. Nawin, welcome on board to the mentor panel for GRG Gen X Incubator, and special welcome for the Startup Catalyst.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
For the benefit of the listeners, would you just introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about your experience with startups?
Yeah. First of all, thanks to Gen X Catalyst for inviting me for this podcast, and thank you, Hetal. Thank you so much. And my name is Naveen. I run a tech company for 17 years now, which is into SAP consulting. I'm basically an SAP consultant, and it's a SAP partner company. Apart from that, I run this entrepreneur community called Startup Payanam, which is it is a community of 65,000 plus entrepreneurs across 18 different countries. So we basically help entrepreneurs and startup founders help them grow, elevate from level 1 to level 10. So this is what we do, and as part of the community, we closely work with 347 plus educational institute, helping them set up Center for Innovation and Incubation. We closely work with 66 incubations across India. We closely work with 27 accelerators across the world, and we closely work with 17 investment networks across the world. And we closely work with 7 different state governments, helping them set up their startup and MSME policies. So that's what we do in the startup space. Apart from that, we run our own investment network called KONGU Angel and Capital Investment, which is a SEBI registered Category 1A fund, and we are a sector agnostic investment company.
Wow, with that breadth and depth of engagement and experience, I'm sure you must have your own view as far as the trends in the market is concerned. And you know, the startup ecosystem goes through lots of ups and downs. Can you highlight some of the trends that you have observed in the market?
See, like there are a lot of seasonal, businesses coming up and rising in for. It has some hype for over a time, then come back and stuff like that. But trend, like my personal opinion as a person who runs a community for more than a decade now, is like every business you run with passion is a trend. So that's what I would love to say. Yeah.
Okay, okay. No, when I meant trends in terms of what's going up, what's going down, what is the market like, that's what I was asking.
That's what it it completely it is based on the domain or which domain the startups work on. What are the problems the startup is solving? It completely depends on that. Yeah, you cannot generalize that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. What's been your engagement experience as far as mentorship is concerned? What prompted you to become a mentor for startups?
See, I don't call myself as a mentor. Mentor is something different. What I do is something different. I just help startup with my own experience or my own failures. I co-founded a startup way back in 2014, which which was a super duper flop, where I burned closely around 87 lakhs, and the learning from that startup, I've built a couple of other startups which has gone to a global acquisition. Uh, the experience which I had over the years, I'm just sharing with the fellow entrepreneurs or the community members. So that's what I do. I mentor is something else. I cannot call myself a mentor. I just guide the early startups, or just share my own experience to them.
Well, sharing your own experience is the biggest thing you do in mentoring anyway. So,
Yeah,
but appreciate the fact that you share your learnings with the other startups as well.
specifically
Um,
failures and how I overcome those failures. So this is what I love to do.
got it, got it. What are the common challenges which you have observed among these startups? What are the major challenges which startups face nowadays?
Uh, like it depends on the geography where they operate out. I am from the city called Coimbatore, so the entrepreneurs here has different kind of challenges, and the entrepreneurs from Chennai has different kind of challenges. So first, let me address the challenges faced by entrepreneurs in a tier two town like Coimbatore. So one is lack of awareness or lack of knowledge on market accessibility or funding or incubation centers. The lack of exposure is the first challenge, the first problem they face. Second is no right access for resources, skilled resource. If it is tech company, the challenge over here is access of tech resources, skilled tech resources. Third challenge is access for mentors and investors or incubation centers or whatever you name. So these are the major challenges a founder from tier 2 town faces, and rest others, the market in tier 2 is huge compared to tier 1, or because it is collection of lot of locations. When I say Coimbatore, it is not only Coimbatore, it is a combination of Erode, Tirupur, Pollachi, Coimbatore and the Nilgiris. It is a collaborative market. When I say Madurai, it is not only Madurai, it is a combination of Ramnad, Sivagangai, Sivakasi and Madurai. So when I say Chennai, it's only Chennai. So the market is huge in tier two town, but when it is in tier one, it is less. So the challenges what a founder from tier one town or city faces is like again the skilled resource is again a challenge, and identifying a right mentor is again a challenge. Identifying a right co-founder is a challenge, but whereas out of my experience, identifying a co-founder for a founder in tier 2 town is bit easier or convenient compared to founder in tier 1. They're not confident on their business. They're not confident in sharing their vision with their co-founders. So these are the major challenges I see in the founders from the tier 1 towns.
Got it. Got it. What have been your key lessons that you learned in your entire journey engaging with startups?
uh, I would not say engaging with startup, I would say out of my experience,
Sure.
like
Sure.
I've learned a lot of lessons, but I would specifically talk about three things which I learned in my past. One thing is, when you are starting up something, don't start it without having a 360-degree analysis or 360-degree research of the business or idea which you are working out. First, work on that. Do a market study, do a competitor study, do understand your product market fit, do a business model canvas and validate it with right set of audience, at least with 100 people. Validate your business model canvas, then if it is feasible and you identify your product market fit, then start building that product. That is number one. Number two is, if you are already into some business, or if you are already building something, or if you are already into something else, don't parallelly start something. Just either hand it over to somebody else or autopilot that business, then come down to this business. Don't parallelly do both the things. You can practically you cannot do both the things. Either you will fail in this or that, or both even. So that is the second learning. Third key learning is like, whatever business you wanted to do, money is needed, but not from your pocket. There are various other options. If your idea is a business venture, you have various other options. If your idea is an entrepreneurship venture, you have lot of subsidy based schemes from the government. If your idea is a startup venture, you have lot of grants, you have lot of funding options available, domain specific funding options available. So money is needed, but not necessarily from your pocket. So these are the three learnings I had over the years of experience, and that's what I would like to share to the fellow entrepreneurs.
You mentioned funding options. Can you elaborate for the city of Coimbatore or state of Tamil Nadu? What are the various funding options which the startups can seek out?
Okay. See, generally there are. I mean, you could categorize these business into three things, like business venture, entrepreneurship venture, or a startup venture. For
I'm specifically
for
referring to startups.
startup. for for startup ventures, there are a lot of funds. Say, for example, from the government of Tamil Nadu, there is this IVP, Innovation Voucher Program, which is part of government of Tamil Nadu. It is for both student and non-student startups. So, voucher A is for ideation stage of startups, which is a 3 lakh grant, and voucher B is idea to prototype stage is for idea to prototype stage startup, which is a 5 lakh grant. And Tamil Nadu government again has something called TANSEED, which was used to be a grant. Now it is against equity. It is up to 15 lakh fund, again 3% of industry specific or domain specific grants. Say, for example, if you are working on idea which is into agri, you have multiple grants from Kisan India. If you are working on an idea in you say media or content creation or whatever it is, you have a lot of grants from MIB, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. So there are a lot of domain specific grants. So it's not rocket science. You could get to know about all these grants in Startup India website itself. All these grants are specified in mentioned in Startup India website. You go to Startup India website, in the left corner you see funding and domain specific. You click it, you get all the funding details.
No, that's wealth of information. I'm sure the startups will find that very useful. Can you name a couple of startups where you have had good experience engaging with them? Some of your success stories.
Success stories, like we have like this advertisement company, and we have a food tech company called Protivore. They are into plant based meat. So like the alternate food for meat. So this startup we're mentoring for 2 years now, and they are from Coimbatore. This startup have got up to 68 lakh rupees on grants alone on multiple domains. So we have helped them, given them path to identify various set of grants, and they are still bootstrap startup. They are working only on grants, and they have expanded their team, and they are operating with most of the South Indian chain of cafes and restaurants right now. So that is one success story. And we have also worked along with a couple of food and health based startups, like with a startup which is working on spirulina. So they are also doing good. They are coming up with healthy nutri bars out of spirulina. They're coming up with spirulina powder. So they have good success story. And likewise, there are a lot of startups who has good success story from Coimbatore itself.
Got it. Got it. What are some of the mistakes which you think startups should avoid when growing up?
Running behind funds is the
Okay.
first mistake a startup should avoid,
Yeah.
because when you are building a world class startup, funding is a byproduct. That is a stage where you should raise funds. Not that you're starting something only to raise funds. That will not work out. So you will have to have a set up a vision. You will have to work on your vision. You have to start building a product, and as I told you, there are various enormous grant. If you are a startup from Tamil Nadu, you are eligible to get grant up to 80 lakhs. There are on multiple schemes. So you could go ahead with those grants, try build your product, build your MVP, have your initial traction, and attract your first set of customers. Then go for funding. From day one, don't run behind investors or run behind funding. Number one. Number two, be very cautious in choosing your co-founder. Your co-founder skill set and your skill set should not be the same. Your strength should be his weakness, and his weakness should be your strength. That's how it gets complemented. It should be complemented that way. So that's how you could get succeed. apart from that, there are various things to be worked on before. Don't start your business or start building a product before validating it with your target customer. First, identify your product market fit, then start building a product. So these are the three important things which I would like to.
Got it. Got it. No, those are wonderful points. Thanks a lot, Naveen.
Thank
What
you.
is role of innovation in startups? How important do you think is innovation to be a
Innovation
success?
is the key to build a startup. So you should be innovative.
Okay.
Otherwise, it becomes a entrepreneurship idea, not a startup idea. So you should be innovative. You should be creative. You should come up with a lot of new gen technology. So that's how you would be called as startup. And again, of course, the problem you solve matters a lot.
Right. Right. One of the biggest source of knowledge and inspiration for startup entrepreneurs is books. Would you like to cite some books which you want to recommend for startup entrepreneurs?
Uh, Very sorry, I don't have the habit of reading books, but I hear a lot of audio books.
Okay.
That again, there is a startup, there is a media tech startup called Magic Tamil 21.
Mm-hmm.
That is a startup which has a lot of business inspiration audiobooks.
Okay.
So I recommend every entrepreneur to go subscribe to them, and it's all ebooks, audiobooks. So you
Okay.
can hear the content of those books.
Got it. Got it. No, this has been wonderful, Mr. Naveen, talking to you and learning from your experience. And I'm
Thank you.
sure the startups and incubators will learn a lot from that. Thank you very much.
Pleasure is mine.
Thank you. Bye bye.